bill has been quietly circulating in Albany that would change regulations for non-public schools. The proposal would make it easier for those schools to meet the requirement they teach a substantially equivalent curriculum to public schools. The current stricter standards were enacted 3 years ago after a New York Times investigation found some yeshivas failed to teach core subjects. So, Luke, should these standards be loosened?
No. The state education department has been working on this issue for 10 years. We have a problem. It's largely concentrated to a small group of religious minorities in Brooklyn, where some of these schools do not teach to the state standards at all. They're teaching in Yiddish. They're not teaching English. They're not teaching social studies. They're not teaching math. They're not teaching science. They're not teaching anything else that public schools typically teach. And the reason they're getting special political attention is because some of these Orthodox Jewish sects tend to vote in a block, right? And you have a mayor and a governor who are not particularly popular, and they're trying not to upset this group for electoral advantage. And they're working with representatives in the legislature who represent these areas to try to forestall these regulations that have been years in the making from going into place, because at the end of June, these schools have to comply. And I think it's horrible to change the standards, or more practically what I think is going to happen, to delay their implementation for many more years, and the problem will just persist.
You mentioned the governor there, and Governor Hochul, so she hasn't been real vocal on this.
Yeah.
So where is she on this?
Well, first, let me just say that as a teacher, I am pro-reading, I'm pro-writing, and I'm pro-arithmetic,
all right,
all, across the board. And so this is a real problem.
3 R's.
The 3 R's, absolutely 4. But from the governor's perspective, it's she is like saying, okay, I've got this tiny amount of people that it affects, and can I horse trade it to get something else? So she's, I think, weighing the benefit, the cost-benefit relation, the cost-benefit for this, and trying to keep her cards close to the table. And I believe she will, spread it out so that she can get something else she wants. And unfortunately, the poor children there are going to pay the price.
So apparently, it's a draft bill that's been circulating around Albany in the legislature, and I guess there's some hope that maybe it would be put directly into the budget, which comes out, well, we're not entirely sure, but should be coming out. And I'm wondering about that process, Lisa, because it seems like if you want to pass a bill, you ought to pass a bill.
Yeah. No, it's bad legislative procedure for sure. To the extent there is any defensible policy here, which I can't see. It should go through the normal legislative process. I mean, we see this on the federal level too. All these things get attached to and incorporated into the budget, and therefore, legislators have no choice effectively to vote, but to support it, because otherwise there won't be a budget. I couldn't agree more with you both, and the only thing I would add is that we just don't have the right as a society, as parents, as legislators, as the governor, we don't have the right to deprive these children of an education. We just don't have that right on a moral basis. And I've long felt that way about even underperforming public schools. It's not when these kinds of fights have come up, and this is an egregious situation. And it just really troubles me that we would even be having this conversation, that this could be allowed to be happening to these kids.
I was just going to say, the advocacy has been led by a former student who experienced this and formed this organization who's been working diligently to try to change the law. They're defending legal challenges. And let me say, religious minorities need their rights to be protected as well, right? I just don't think that extends to educating children exactly how they want in a way that doesn't fit with the standards that every other child receives in the state.
And the state Department of Education has come out pretty strongly on this.
Yes, they do not support the bill. They want things to remain in place.